Hi guys, welcome to my channel, my little corner of the... I was supposed to touch up my hair. Pretend like you saw me with my hair being done and just like touched up. But hi, like I was saying, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm so excited that you're here watching this video, whatever time it found you. I'm very glad it did. Today is not the typical video that book people on this YouTube website release within the first week of a new month. You're maybe expecting a reading wrap-up, or maybe you read the title, which you probably did. I cannot give you a reading wrap-up for the month of May because I read one book, and it was documented and posted on the channel already, and I'm not going to do a reading wrap-up of one book that I did a whole video about and be a little repetitive. So instead, I have stacks of books behind me, and we're going to be talking about summer book recommendations. Have you seen these books before? I guarantee it. They are all very popular books. They've all been talked about at one point. I'm recommending these because they're popular for a reason. We'll say we have two types of books that are featured in this video. Have your traditional summery, fun, light summer book that you think of, like I'm gonna be at a beach and this is the kind of book that I want to read. But then we also have the books that I tend to gravitate to toward the summer season, which happens to be very not summer vibes, a little more autumnal, a little bit more gloomy, and that is because it's literally a day like that today, the first day of June, and we're having a thunderstorm in Florida. And the days where there are thunderstorms on thunderstorms, I prefer to cozy up with a book that does not feel like a beach read because it just makes me sad that I'm not at the beach. I'm not saying it's like wintry, the leaves are falling to the ground, but I am saying it's distinctly not like, is that the right word? Just not super summer. Like, you're not like, oh my gosh, this is a beach read, they're at a beach house, wow. These are like, oh my gosh, they're in school. So, and as I say that, there's one more book I left on my shelf that has gained popularity, but I need to talk about it because I love this book and I think about this book quite frequently, so I had to go grab that. Did I just kick her? I did. I just kicked my cat. Don't be like me. Be better. Don't kick your animals on accident when you walk places. Okay, so since I just grabbed it, I'm not going to start with it. Over here, because this pile is probably a little bit more summery than this pile, but this pile still has summer stuff, but this one definitely has more summer. So this first book is pretty popular. Was very popular back in the Tumblr days. There was a movie made. I didn't really like the movie, but that's a whole other story. But I loved this book, and this book gives me summer vibes because it's a little road trip vibe, and we love a road trip. So that book is Paper Towns by John Green. This is YA, this is fun, this is light. It's just a light read, and it's pretty like unput-downable, right? It's basically about Quentin, and he loves the girl that lives, I think she lives like next to him or something like that. I have this fun night, an all-nighter, and she's missing. She's gone. The girl, Margot, her name is Margot, she's gone, and they're like, where the heck is Margot? And they kind of just follow clues to see where she's gone. And he kind of drags his friends along with him. I remember I read this when I was about 14, so it's been a long time. At this point, it's been about 7 years, but I did thoroughly enjoy this, and I do think about it often, and that also has to do with the fact that it's on my dresser where I display most of my like most thought about books but I recommend this because it is road trip vibes, fun, like teens just having a fun adventure, and I think adventure vibes are so good for summer. So the next book is not summery, but it is a thriller. Thrillers are so fun to read on the beach, but she's a very popular author for a reason. She had her time in the light, she's been taking it up and she's been doing great. And honestly, I think that's amazing. She knows what she's good at and she sticks to it. And this is not the book that, like, you think of her and it comes to mind. But we're talking about Colleen Hoover and we're talking about Verity. But Verity is so good. I will say, if you want a closed-door book, you're like, this is a thriller. I'm saying, if you want a closed-door book, do not read this. When I had read this book, I didn't really care about it was open door or closed door. I was just reading to read. But now I care because I want to be consuming things that are not going to, I don't know, I just want to be careful with the things that I'm reading. And so basically this book is set up where Verity, who's our title character, and she's not our FMC, but she is a very big important part of the book, obviously. Her husband is hiring another author to help finish her series, to ghostwrite the rest of her book series, because she's a very popular author. And so Lowen, our female main character, is hired. They have her go to their house, their family home. Verity's there. Something happened to Verity. She's just unable to finish her work. She ends up going to their house, having to go through Verity's office to find whatever she could need, whatever materials and resources she needs to finish the series, and ends up finding some work that no one is supposed to see. It just opens up a can of worms, of very scary, decomposing worms. Think like, you know that worm from SpongeBob? If you know what I'm talking about, you know, I'll put it on the screen. Imagine that worm in an entire, like, not even a can, a barrel of worms. She opens a barrel of disgusting SpongeBob worms. Lowen finds his unwritten work, and she's basically developing some feelings for Verity's husband, Jeremy. And she's like, I have to let him know what's going on. He needs to read this work. He needs to read why his family is different. And that's when the thriller aspect really comes in. And so being in that house is creepy, the whole thing. And I literally just had a flashback of a moment in the book. Oh my gosh. I remember it kept me up. So this book is so good. The next book is such a good book. I'm just going to tell you right now. I mean, hello. This book, literally, like, if somebody, oh my gosh, just like, I need another book written in this style. It's like a interview, like, transcript style. But this is Daisy Jones and the Six. The show came out this year. Phenomenal. I really enjoyed the show. This book, oh my goodness, incredible. She's an incredible author. She's incredible at making you feel like these people are real celebrities. So this book follows a band. This follows the moments before fame of their band, like some biographical elements of the members of the band, and then it follows their most impactful moments in their careers, and it shows the, like, relationship of the band, the drama of the band. You know Fleetwood Mac. We all know Fleetwood Mac. This is if Fleetwood Mac were to be written about. But the thing that is so good about this book, the thing that is so genius about this book, is that the interviews are being done like, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many years in the future. Like 40 years or something like that, 20 to 40 years within that time scope. These interviews are done. And so if you think that these people are reliable to what's happening, right? We have everyone's different point of view on every single thing that happens, and it's incredible. The suspense, the vibes, very 70s, very rock and roll, and the show's phenomenal. And I will be rereading that book. My mirror's behind me, so if I look behind me or like below you guys, I'm looking at myself. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. It's just my hair's looking good. I'm feeling good in this outfit. I don't know. The next book is epitome of summer. Okay, epitome of, this is a book I need to read during summer. Summer, 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 summer. I love summer. This book says that. The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. I mean, come on. You cannot have a summer book rec video without this book. Summer is in the title. It is so vibes. Ew, that was disgusting. It is so summer vibes. So good. just like so entertaining. So basically, Belly, she leaves her school life to go to Cousins Beach, as she's been doing her entire life with her family, and the people that she spends the summer with is her mom's best friend Susanna and her 2 boys, Jeremiah and Conrad. And she's always had a thing for Conrad. And I guess last summer she was still not really, you know, she hadn't bloomed yet. So she's maybe in her glasses, had her braces, and she goes back to Cousins, and Belly, she had her glow up moment. She is there with her favorite people, spending the summer. She has a hope for a summer guy. She's hoping for Conrad, but maybe it's going to be different. There's a new boy that enters her life named Cam. And the show, okay, I'm going to say this. I loved how they took this book. They kept it so, the integrity's there, right? It's so good. The show covers everything, but it adds more. You get everybody's, because this is Belly's story. The show is just, you get everyone. You get the moms, you get the boys. It's amazing. You get the entire family dynamic from the Conklin family to the Fisher family. It's incredible. It truly just is that wholesome summer, and that like you're hoping for a summer love, and you're hoping just to have the best summer ever with your friends and the people that you love so much. And that's what this book gives. I mean, obviously, you gotta read it on a beach. You gotta read it by the pool. It has to be read during the summer. The 2nd season comes out this summer in July. So if you haven't read the entire series, I will say, just go ahead and read the entire series this summer, because you're not going to regret it, because I feel as though this is the event of the summer. This series, the 2nd season coming out. I am so excited. I could pee my pants. I won't, but I could. I will make sure to not drink any water the day the show comes out, I guess. That was supposed to be a joke. I don't think it was very funny. You probably know what the next book is. You can probably tell by the bright pink, beautiful book sleeve that we have going on. The most anticipated read for me of 2023. And my favorite book I've read of 2023. We have Happy Place by Emily Henry. Oh my goodness. I can't say this is a romance book. You cannot say that this is a romance book. This is Emily Henry. It's literary fiction. There is too much going on in these people's lives, too much character development, too much like plot separate from romance for you to just say, oh, she's a romance writer. No, Emily Henry is so much more. I loved this book. This is so good. My camera battery is flashing at me. Are you joking? I love this book. This book was so well-rounded. This is about Harriet and Wynn. They were engaged and then they're not. So they have to fake date with their friends because they're at a trip that they go on every summer. And they have to fake it. A little bit of fake dating, a little bit of tension. And it's so beautifully well done. There's a little bit of miscommunication. There's a lot of bit of miscommunication, let's be real. But it's beautifully written. There's found family, second chance romance. It's just so all around good and like deep, and it was so beautiful. I've underlined the crap out of this book, and I truly loved it. And Emily Henry is just a summer staple at this point. I am so just excited for the more that her career is going to be, and we love it. We love Emily Henry on this channel. I have all of her books, all 4. I got all of them, and I have them all on display in my room because I love her so much. So this book is amazing, and I'm pretty sure I covered everything that this book is about. So I'm gonna go put my camera battery on the charger, and I will see you guys in a little while. So I know I probably rushed through Happy Place, but my camera was about to die. Okay, next book, One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. It has been a very long time since I read this, but basically I opened the book and I just got a flash of memories, so it's perfect. This is another like thriller murder mystery, and this follows 4 teens that were in detention together. You got the brain, the beauty, the criminal, the athlete, and then a fifth kid, the outcast. And Simon dies in detention. It wasn't an accident. So he dies in detention, and it makes all of the 4 other kids people of interest in the investigation. And you see, the kid who dies, Simon, the outcast, was about to post some juicy gossip about our 4 main characters. And so they all have motive, but did they do it? So this isn't a friend group. These are they're complete strangers. They're all in different circles, but everybody being a suspect. I love that. I love that feeling of it being an ensemble, and you're like, well, this person has motive and this person also has motive. Who could it be? It is a murder mystery, and so you're like, this is kind of dark, and it was a little like, you're like, oh, someone died, like, but it's not too heavy, and it's young adult, so there are moments of light still kind of intertwined within the book, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, the last book on this pile is just the perfect beach read. That was Beach Read by Emily Henry. Do you see what I did there? It was really bad. Yeah, I love this book. I love Emily Henry. I literally just said that a book ago, right? And I've actually mentioned this book 2 or 3 other times on my channel now, and I will never stop talking about it. I'm sorry, you can't make me. This book and Happy Place are just going to be talked about all the time at this point. So we have Augustus Everett and we have January Andrews, and they're both writers. So Augustus Everett writes literary fiction, and January Andrews writes more fluffy romance kind of vibes. She's always focused on her happily ever after in her books. And they're both at a lake house. They end up being next door neighbors. They're very opposite from one another, and they have a little bit of writer's block going on. So they kind of strike up a deal. You write my genre, I write your genre. Basically, they take each other out on these like little outings to show how they get research for their books. The ending line is so cute on the back. It says, everyone will finish a book and no one will fall in love. Really. And I just ate this book up. This book, their connection is so good. Emily Henry, again, like, she completely encapsulates the human connection. That's what I've always said when I recommend her books to people that I know, because there, of course, there's a plot of romance, like I've said previously when talking about Happy Place, but there's also the main focus of these characters in her books are always going through some big developmental part in their lives. But I really loved following January and Gus's more personal things. It's so good and so well written. This is not closed door. Emily Henry really isn't closed door. I would say it's not the worst open door I've read or I've heard of, but it's definitely not closed door. It is a cutie little town, small town vibes. I love a good small town read. And so this is summer vibes all around. So yummy, so delicious. These guys over here, now that they've had their moment to shine. I like to sing when I talk sometimes, if you haven't noticed. Okay, this book is YA. Very good vibes. Is not a summer book. Like, it doesn't take place during the summer, but it's the beginning of the school year, and it's such good vibes. Just like, I don't know, adventurous. I couldn't put it down. I think I read it in one sitting. We're talking about Moxie by Jennifer Matthew. I believe that's how you say your last name. So Vivian Carter is fed up. She's fed up with her life in this small town, in this high school, where the football team, their guys are just perfect. They're not getting in trouble, but the girls are getting in trouble for the smallest things. Dress codes and being like harassed in the hallways. The boys are not getting in trouble for not leaving these girls alone, basically. She's like, I don't want to follow the rules. I'm going to be a rule breaker and I'm going to be a cool girl. Her mom was like this super cool, like, riot girl in the 90s, and so she takes inspiration from one of her like feminist zines. They're called like the magazines, and she starts putting them around anonymously around the school to like change the school. She's making friendships with all the girls across campus. She's helping just make change in the school, breaking up cliques. Everyone's just like, the bad blood is seemingly gone. Some like other drama that happens that she's a little bit like, I think I've bitten off more than I can chew, and this is kind of hard. I enjoyed it. It's a very fun read, very you keep up with it and you're just entertained. And I love a good story about like girls encouraging girls. Next book. Oh, I love this book. We're talking about Get a Life, Chloe Brown. This is not closed door. This is not closed door. I'm still going to recommend this because this is just a fluff. Well, it's not like super fluff. You definitely have like some real conversation about what's going on in people's lives. Still fluff. It's still feel good. She makes this like bucket list and she's like, I gotta do all these things because I am so afraid of life. So because she's sick and she's like bedridden sometimes. And so she's like, I just want to have fun. It's called Get a Life list. So she's completed one of the items on the list, which is moving out of her family's big mansion. And then the next items on the list are literally enjoy a drunken night out, ride a motorcycle, go camping, have some, you know, adult times with a guy, travel the world with nothing but a hand luggage and do something bad. But it's not easy because she's written a guideline on how to do this thing. So she's being like geeky about the list where she's trying to be like a bad girl and get a life. She's looking for a guide man through this process. And so she calls upon Redford Morgan. We love him. He's the handyman in her building with tattoos. Very lumberjack, but like motorcycle man. She is learning about life. He's helping her and she's learning about him. And she's surprised to find out how big of a fan she is of Red. And I recommend it because it may not take place on a beach. They are in the UK, but it's a good little cute romance, and for that reason it's a great summer book. Next book, I know exactly what book this is because it's the only book that I own that is like this color, because the pages have to be like stark white. I don't understand. Another Colleen Hoover book. We got Heartbones, people. Heartbones. This girl, Bea, she is from a neglectful family. She's a little poor. Not a good life. There's this boy, Samson, and he's from a wealthy family. They're neighbors, and they end up finding out that they have a little bit more in common than they probably anticipated, but money is not one of those things. And so they have this crazy bond. So they kind of just are like, okay, it's just gonna be summer fling, and that's that. And what they don't realize is that a bunch of crap is gonna happen. It's gonna be intense, it's gonna make you cry. This book did make me cry. There were some moments where I was like, this is kind of cheesy and a little ridiculous. But it is Colleen Hoover, so I feel like something that's a little far-fetched is okay. Next book. I don't really know what this book is. Oh, yes! Okay, I'm so glad I remembered to grab this off the shelf. This book is so good. We're talking about Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. You've probably seen the movie. You've probably heard about this from your parents. I'm here to tell you that this is classic thriller vibes. You don't know the half of it. The book is even better than the movie because you're in the mailman character's brain. You're hearing his thoughts. You're like, oh my gosh, what the junk is up with this dude? Basically, the morning of their anniversary, of Nick and Amy's anniversary, on the morning of that anniversary, she goes missing. And they are investigating, and they're like, this man definitely did it. He's being kind of evasive, avoiding questions. He's a little bitter, which, like, his wife is missing. Yeah, so people are just like, he's got a microscope to his life. He's hating it. The twists in this book, I mean, if you've seen the movie, you know, but like, I'm gonna tell you this. I saw the movie before I read the book, which is something I really try to never let myself do anymore. My love for the movie grew immensely after reading the book because the book is genius. You want a summer thriller. This is a summer thriller. Yeah, it takes place during the summer. It's not a fall read. It's not like she goes missing in a cold winter's night or a fall morning where it's drizzling. No, this is a summer morning. This is like a holiday weekend, I'm pretty sure, too. Okay, we have 4 books left, and these are a four-fer. You're like, what's a four-fer? Well, you know, like a twofer, like a 2-for-1. These are a four-fer. So these are 4 books, all a part of one series. And I think I'm going to get some boos, and that's totally okay if you boo me for this. I read these books for the first time during the summer, and let me tell you, this gave me all the vibes I was wanting on those summer rainy days. perfect. It always rains here. It's always just cold and wet. Like, I just don't like anything cold and wet. If you know what I'm talking about. If you know, you know. Guys, we're talking about Twilight. I have all of them right here. I actually have a copy of the Black Twilight right there. I have Midnight Sun on my shelves. But these books, I mean, if you know, you know, and you probably do know because you probably either watched the movies or read them. And this is nothing new, but I will say, all of these movies and all of these book things that came out way in the day are getting their renaissance. Where's the Twilight Renaissance, y'all? I'm a little annoyed. Basically, if you don't know, Bella moves in with her father in Forks, Washington, and it's cold and it's rainy and it's wet and she does not love that. But she meets a boy and she's like, wait, maybe I can stay here. But he's a little sus. And she's like, why is he sus? About 3 things I was absolutely positive. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him, and I didn't know how potent that part might be that thirsted for my blood. And third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. That's such an iconic line. If you're like a fantasy, like, I need my vampires to be like actually like vampires are said to be, this is not the place for you. My father is one of those people and he rains on my parade. Don't tell me not to live. You don't even get me started on him, Mr. I collect. Actually, that's hilarious. I was about to roast him for collecting figurines, and I literally have like freaking Big Hero 6 down there. I have Mr. Bobinski and Totoro up here. I need to just not talk sometimes. The books are really good. The books are like, have you hanging on the edge of your seat really good. And like I said with Colleen Hoover, when things are popular, they are popular for a reason. This book is without a doubt popular for a reason. This series is without a doubt popular for a reason. I understand if this is like, what? Summer reads. I was expecting all beach books. There are a million of these videos going around. This is a highly saturated market, people. I don't want to give you the super typical books. And I did. I mean, I gave you Heartbones. I gave you Happy Place. I gave you Summer I Turned Pretty. I gave you Beach Read. And then I gave some like summer adjacent books. And then I gave what I consider to be my favorite summer reads. Don't knock it till you try it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. But I'm so excited for more videos to come. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe below if you're interested in more content, such as the content that I offer, lifestyle and books, that kind of stuff. We love it on this channel. My Instagram, my TikTok, my Pinterest, and my Goodreads are all below. And I'm also going to be making an Amazon wish list full of these books. I hope that you have an amazing rest of your morning, afternoon, or night, whatever time this video stumbled upon your homepage or subscription box. And I can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!